Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Chef C. We are cooking today. What are we cooking? We're going to have what we call a Southern meal. Southern fish fry. We're doing perch because I'm from the East Coast and I can't find flounder out here in Texas. Yeah, that. So we're going to have fried perch. We're going to do it in an air fryer. We're doing acorn squash fries and we're going to do coleslaw. So come along and cook with me and we'll get this together, Southern style. Okay, we're going to start with the acorn squash because it takes a little bit longer to cook in the oven. You're going to preset your oven to 450, and while that's heating up, you're going to wash your acorn squash. Wash everything. You know how we like to do it. Wash all your vegetables first. So we're going to wash the acorn squash, split it in half, and you're going to cut out the inside. I use the spoon, scrape it out. Now you can save those seeds if you want to, bake them off, and they're like pumpkin seeds because it's squash seeds. Those of you who like to plant, you can also do whatever you need to do in order to plant those seeds. I have a black thumb, and I'll kill anything that I try to plant every time. My husband can attest to that. All right, so I like to peel mine, but like you do with potatoes, I like to leave some of the peel on. And the fact that I can't get it all off unless I use my paring knife is one of the reasons why I left some of it on. So I'm going to peel the squash as best as possible. And then we're going to cut it up and put it in this bowl. And then once we put it in the bowl, we're going to add some seasoning. Now, you can add the seasoning of your choice. I mean, some of you don't like a lot of spice, so you can add salt and pepper and leave it at that. Those of us who like a little spice, I have my own seasoning spice that I use that has a little bit of everything in it. We call it a loofah. But yes, it's Samoan for love. So we're going to cut the acorn squash. Cut it in the size that you want it to be for your fries. Kind of looks like cantaloupe. I got these small ones from a grocery store, a local grocery store chain. All right, so then I'm gonna use avocado oil. If you don't have avocado oil, you can use olive oil. You can use coconut oil, whatever oil you have available. If you have regular vegetable oil, you can use that as well. And then I have my seasoning spice. So we're gonna drizzle, and I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Clean hands, clean hands, clean hands, because those are our best tools. We're gonna use our hands today in a lot of things. We'll put some of our seasoning spice in here. It looks like a lot, but it's going to get evenly distributed, so I'm not even worried about it. And plus, I have a person who, if it's not spicy enough for him, he'll tell me in creative ways. Bariatric patients, our taste change once we've had bariatric surgery. Some of us can't handle all the spice anymore. Some of us can handle all the spice you want to give us. I'm somewhere in the middle. It has to be seasoned and seasoned well. Bland food would tick you off. You have very little belly space. Putting bland food in a very little belly space will make you upset. All right, once you have a single layer arranged in your baking sheet, we're gonna put these in the oven. Again, 450 degrees. It's gonna take about 40 minutes. We're gonna do about 20 minutes, and then we're gonna turn them, and then we're gonna do 20 more minutes, and then they'll be done. Okay, and by that time we'll have everything done. So we're gonna do this first. All right. So I'm gonna put these in the oven, and then I'll be back, and we'll start with the coleslaw. All right. All right. So we're gonna make coleslaw now. All right. So bariatric patients. This is a head of cabbage. See that wedge? That's all I'm using. There's only 2 of us. Don't need to cook it all. And what I'll do is later on in the week we'll have some braised cabbage with that. I'm doing a a slow cooker beef stew, and we'll have braised cabbage with that beef stew. So that will get used, just not today. All right, so we've got our cabbage that's already been washed. I've got a peeled carrot. We've got some peppers off the one plant that we had got to live. We're gonna use some mayonnaise. Yeah, I'm from the South. I'm from the East Coast. Duke's is the only mayonnaise I'm gonna use. We've got some vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna use some mustard. Got my sweetener, and again I have Malaloofa. We're gonna grate the cabbage. I'm gonna use the knuckle buster. Yes, that's what we call it in the industry, a knuckle buster, because you go down too far, you can bust your knuckles. I've done it several times. I'll probably do it again today. So we're gonna grate our cabbage. Now you can chop this cabbage with the knife. You can grate it. It just depends on how fine you want. Today I'm grating. And what we'll do is I'll grate this, and then I'll come back to you, and I'll grate this and the carrot, and then I'll come back to you, and we'll put our sauce together. All right, so we have our cabbage grated, our carrots grated, and I've chopped the jalapenos. I did 2 small ones in here, 2 very small ones. I mean, they're like that big, small. Now we're gonna make our dressing, and I'm gonna use about a tablespoon. Yeah, a tablespoon of mayonnaise. My mayonnaise lover back there. I'm one of those people who likes mayonnaise in stuff. I don't like mayonnaise on stuff. So yeah, there's that. Gonna use about a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard. Like a measurements, eyeball. Gonna use about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Gonna use about a teaspoon of our sweetener. Today I'm using the monk fruit. I'm using Lakanto. If you have Swerve, you can use Swerve. I'm using the granule. And I'm going to use some Malaloofa because, you know, spice, spice, and spice. We've talked about that. Spice, spice, and spice. And that's about a teaspoon. Hit me up in the comments or at the email address for cspotfood, thecspotfood@gmail.com, and I can tell you how we can get you that spice. Gonna mix this up. I'm gonna give it a taste. We have tasting spoons for that. That way I don't lap in the food. My culinary training at work. I think it's pretty good. A little bit mustardy. So I might add just a little bit more. A little bit more spice and a little bit more sweetener. My guinea pig back there says that sounds good to him. Yeah. So I added a 1/4 teaspoon more of the sweetener. Pour that on. If you don't like the mustard, leave it out. If you don't have this my spice mix, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, a little garlic powder. Goes a long way. We're going to mix this in. I'm going to cover it up with some plastic wrap. We're going to put it in the fridge and let it sit until our fish is done. We've got about 5 more minutes on that acorn squash. Yeah, I said it was going to take 40 minutes. My acorn squash is small, so mine's taking maybe about 15 to 20. All right, so once you get that all mixed in, what do we got? We got coleslaw. All right, we're going to come back, and we're going to start our fish. All right, we're back. What we're doing is we're going to air fry some perch. Here's our perch. I've got it's about 10 fillets. It's about about a pound. We're going to use our pork rinds, chickaroons. All right, so I've ground the pork rinds up. I used a mini food processor or a chopper, and we're going to season those with, because everything needs seasoning. Remember, seasoning, seasoning, and seasoning. I've got some Old Bay. About a tablespoon and a half of Old Bay. And remember, I have a seasoned person, so I'm gonna add about a teaspoonful of my other spice mix, the alufah. I use the bags. You tree huggers, don't at me on this. I like my bags. When they make a reusable bag that is thin and pliable like this, that I can manipulate, I'll switch. I do have some of those reusable bags that I use for my freezer when I do my cookies, but they're not flexible enough to be able to do this type of work in. All right, so what we've got in our bowl here, we've got 1 egg, some hot sauce. It's my, I'm from the East Coast, Texas Pete, made in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of hot sauce and an egg. We're gonna beat that up. Yes, I'm wearing gloves. I'm working with protein. Texture issues. I want to wear gloves. Don't at me on that either. I am who I am. So we're going to dip the fish in the egg mixture, put it in the chicharrones, put it on my grate, and put it in my grate. I've taken some avocado oil, and I've put it on a towel, and I've lightly rubbed it. It's not going to stick much, but everything sticks. We're going to do the same method that we used for anything that you're going to batter fry. 1 wet hand, 1 dry hand. Even though I have gloves on, we're still going to have 1 wet hand, 1 dry hand. That coating looks real good. I'm going to lay my skin size down. Plop. Now you can use the chopped chicharrones for all things. Like I make an oven fried pork chops, sort of like your shake and bake. And I use the chicharrones as the flour mixture, and then put some seasoning in it, bake it in the oven, just like shake and bake. Seriously, just like shake and bake. Get the plain. I have a sensitivity to MSG because I have migraines, so I use the plain pork rinds. I have not tried those what they call them, porkless pork rinds. I haven't tried those yet. I'm interested in trying those. If you've tried those, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'll be happy to. I read my comments, or my producer reads my comments. All right, we've got everything well coated. I'm gonna do this in batches. I'm actually gonna do a batch in the air fryer, and then I'm gonna do a batch in the deep fryer. I've got the deep fryer still out from Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna do a batch in the deep fryer, and we're gonna go from there. All right. Now the air fryer, I have a setting on mine for fish. I'm gonna use that setting. And it says it's at 360 for 15 minutes. I'm probably going to check it after about 7 just to see how we're doing, because that fish is thin because it's filleted and it's small, and we don't need a whole lot. Turn it on, ready to go. I'll be back with you in a few minutes, and we'll see how everything's going. All right, we're back, and our food is done. We have the fried perch. We've got the acorn squash fries, and we've got our coleslaw, our typical um, southern fish fry. We also remember I said we were going to do the fish in 2 different ways. Well, we did. We did this one's air fried, and it's just as crispy. It's just as crispy as you'd ever want. It's fried perfectly. It did only take about, it took about 15, 16, 17 minutes in the air fryer at 360 degrees. But remember, my fish is it's meatier, but it's thinner. So that's why it took so longer than the actual air fryer temperature was set at. Time that was set. We did the we deep fry fish fry with some peanut oil. And this is breaded with it's breaded with panko. So I've got panko on top of this fish, but it's got the same seasonings. So all I did was I dipped it in flour, put it in the egg wash with the hot sauce, rolled it in the panko. Panko had the Old Bay seasoning in it. The flour had the Alufa seasoning in it, and then we just fried it off in the deep fryer for about no, I didn't do almond flour. Okay. I did regular flour. In the deep fryer for about four to 6 minutes, and it is done, and it is crispy, and it is good. It's crunchy. Both of them are good and crunchy. We got our coleslaw. Remember, our coleslaw had the cabbage, the cabbage, carrots, jalapeno, and then we did our dressing sauce in it, and then we have our oven fries, our acorn squash fries. Healthy meal. This portion is not suitable for bariatric patients. That's my disclaimer. You should only maybe have 1 piece of fish, maybe half that coleslaw, and probably a couple of fries, because our bellies are smaller. You might be able to squeeze in 2 pieces of fish. That's protein, protein, and protein. But please be careful and do not overeat. This meal will last Chuck and I about that's gonna be a meal each for us, and probably lunch tomorrow. So we have plenty to eat. It's been a pleasure cooking with you today, and thank you for joining me again. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get notified when I post new videos. We're trying for every week, but life happens at us fast. If you want to get the recipes from me, please contact me at the cspotfood@gmail.com. That's THECSPOTFOOD, all one word, at gmail.com. And I'll be happy to provide you with any recipes. Thank you again. And remember to enjoy the journey.